My mom asked why I looked so much like the neighbor. I laughed. She didn't. She's been avoiding his wife for 30 years. It started as a joke at my 30th birthday party. My dad had invited the whole neighborhood, and Mr. Aldridge from next door was standing by the grill when I walked over to grab a burger. My mom made a comment about how we could be related with our matching jawlines and green eyes. I laughed because it was such a random observation, but when I turned to look at her, she wasn't smiling at all. Her face had gone completely pale, and she was staring at Mr. Aldridge like she'd seen a ghost. He wouldn't meet her eyes. I didn't think much of it at the time, but that night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how my mom had avoided Mrs. Aldridge for my entire life. They lived 15 feet away from us, but I couldn't remember a single time they'd had a real conversation. My mom always had an excuse ready. She was busy. She had a headache. She had to run errands across town. 30 years of excuses that I never once questioned until now. The next morning I pulled out old photo albums and started comparing pictures of myself as a child to photos I'd seen of Mr. Aldridge at neighborhood barbecues over the years. The resemblance was undeniable. Same eyes, same nose, same dimple on the left cheek that I'd always assumed came from my dad's side of the family. My dad doesn't have that dimple. Neither does anyone in his family. I confronted my mom that afternoon when my dad was at work. I showed her the photos side by side and asked her directly if Mr. Aldridge was my biological father. She broke down crying immediately. She didn't even try to deny it. 30 years ago, she and my father had been going through a rough patch. They were separated for 6 months, and she thought they were heading for divorce. During that time, she had an affair with the neighbor who had just moved in next door. She got pregnant with me. Then my dad came back and wanted to work things out. She never told him the truth. She let him believe I was his child, and she's been living with that secret ever since. That's why she avoided Mrs. Aldridge all these years. Not because she disliked her, but because she couldn't look at the woman whose husband had fathered her child. Every neighborhood gathering for 30 years had been torture for her. I asked her if Mr. Aldridge knew the truth. She said he suspected, but they never confirmed it. They made an unspoken agreement to never discuss it and to keep their distance. He stayed with his wife. She stayed with my dad, and I grew up sandwiched between two houses filled with secrets. I didn't know what to do with this information. The man I'd called dad my whole life had raised me and loved me unconditionally. He taught me to ride a bike and helped me with homework and walked me down the aisle at my wedding. He was my father in every way that mattered. But there was another man 15 feet away who shared my DNA and had watched me grow up from a distance, knowing I might be his son. I decided to get a DNA test to know for certain. I asked Mr. Aldridge if he would be willing to participate. He agreed without hesitation. I think he'd been waiting 30 years for someone to finally ask him. The results confirmed everything. Mr. Aldridge was my biological father. My dad was not. I sat with that information for 2 weeks before I decided what to do. I chose not to tell my dad. He's 72 years old and has a heart condition. Finding out that his only son isn't biologically his would destroy him completely. My mom has carried this secret for 3 decades, and now I carry it too. I did sit down with Mr. Aldridge, though. We had a long conversation in his backyard while his wife was out shopping. He told me he'd always wondered about me. He said watching me grow up next door was both a blessing and a punishment. He got to see his son, but could never claim me as his own. He cried when he told me he was proud of the man I'd become. I see him differently now. When I wave at him over the fence, there's a weight to it that wasn't there before. We share something that nobody else knows about, a secret that connects us and separates us at the same time. My mom still avoids Mrs. Aldridge. Some habits are too old to break, but now when I see her make excuses, I understand the guilt she's been carrying all these years. I don't hate her for what she did. People make mistakes, especially when they're young and scared and lonely. She made a choice 30 years ago, and she's been paying for it every single day since. The man who raised me is still my dad. The man next door is something else entirely. I haven't figured out what to call him yet. Maybe I never will, but I've stopped laughing when people say we look alike, because the truth is heavier than I ever imagined it could be.
Click the link on the homepage to watch the full follow-up for free.